Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video, and today I bring you once again another Arrow review. Yes, today is Wednesday night, and I am giving you my review of Arrow Season 3, Episode 2, titled Sara. Yes, ironically, Sara is not really in this episode, so I don't really know why they had to call it Sara, but nevertheless, it's all about the death of Sara and the avenging of Sara's death, and to tell you the truth, people, that's the gist of the actual episode. I mean, like, it opens up and ends depressing. It's like, I don't think there's an actual moment in this episode where I was like, yeah, you know, like the kid on fucking Falcor and fucking Neverending Story or whatever. It just felt very depressing every single inch and minute that passed by in this episode was very depressing. And don't get me wrong, I like the episode for what they did and what they were doing in this episode, but overall, when you compiled it all together and throw it at me, I just feel like, yeah, I really don't want to sit here for like half an hour, like, watching these actors cry, like, every fucking 5 minutes. It's just unnecessary. Although, I can get why. I mean, like, Sara did die, and that's a real big issue, you know. I mean, of course, I've heard shit tons of YouTubers online cry about it themselves, you know. It's like, no, Sara's gone. It is what it is, you know. Sara's gone. She will be back as a guest role, I think, in one of these upcoming episodes, supposedly in a flashback sequence. But yeah, her character's officially gone. It's done. And I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that, you know, I kind of see where they're going with it. It's definitely, her death, like I said in the previous episode, it's the catalyst of where these characters are going to go throughout the rest of the episode, you know? Sara's death is what triggers Laurel to want to become the next Black Canary, and her death obviously brings in League of Assassins, aka Ra's al Ghul, to town, you know, which I fucking want to see already. I'm sick of this. Oh, where's Thea? What's happening with Thea? Who gives a shit? She said she ain't coming back. Why are we still bitching about her? That happened like 5 months ago. Stop it. Stop crying, you fucking assholes. I want to see Ra's al Ghul, the demon's head, fucking Lazarus pit type shit. Nevertheless, this episode was awesome. It opens up with a real ringer. You know, you have Laurel in the fucking Arrow cave, if you will. You know, with Sara's body right there, which was really sketchy in and of itself. That, you know, you have this entire episode where no one really, outside Team Arrow, really knows that Sara's dead, and no one's really doing anything about it. It's like, even Felicity throughout the episode was bitching about that. It's like Sara's dead in a freezer upstairs as we speak. It's like, yeah, I know. Tell someone. Why are you bitching to Oliver? He obviously is dealing with his own mental issues, for fuck's sake. Nevertheless, this episode was pretty badass in its own action sequences. We have the main villain for this specific episode, Komodo, coming. And I was expecting a lot more from Komodo, but seeing as how Team Arrow has grown a lot since Deathstroke, it makes sense for Team Arrow to really take out villains very easily. But I don't know, I kind of feel like every villain that's not going to be Ra's al Ghul is going to be like super easy for Team Arrow, and I don't really like that. I like the fact that it takes a lot of time to take out the villains that they're trying to defeat, you know, like last season it took forever to take out Deathstroke, you know, I mean, like, but this season it's like, villain, 10 minutes later, we got him, you know, today, boom, we got him, it only took 2 trips, boom, we got him, lock him up, you know, it just feels, I don't know, it just felt like, it just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, it just feels, I just would like to see the villains, I don't want to say win, because obviously that's stupid for, like, a comic book fan like myself to say that, but at the same time, it just feels too easy. I mean, like, why are you going to have, you know, these new villains if they're not going to have, like, their mark on the show, you know, and that's just how I personally feel. But over the course of the entire episode, tons of other characters are dealing with their own personal turmoil, you know, like, obviously Oliver's dealing with his own shit. He and Roy are both dealing with their own personal issues. You know, Roy's dealing with whether or not he should tell Oliver about Thea's message, and Oliver just wants to see Thea, you know, because he misses her and shit. And Felicity really is contemplating quitting Team Arrow, which, spoilers if you've not seen the episode, I'm starting to get really pissed off at that. Side note, why do I have to keep saying spoilers? If you have not seen the episode, why are you listening to me? Go see the fucking episode. Stop. Stop it. I'm gonna slap you. We continue to play these fucking rouges, these games. Nevertheless, they're all dealing with their own personal Thea thing. Felicity is thinking about quitting Team Arrow, which she kind of does at the end of the episode. And Ray Palmer is in this episode for a couple of sequences. He's obviously doing his Tony Stark Arrow version of Tony Stark thing, and I like it. He doesn't have a lot to do like he did in the previous episode, but nevertheless, I still like Brandon Routh as Ray Palmer. He's pretty badass. I can't wait to see him turn Atom. I'm just saying. I know we're not going to see it anytime soon, but come on, this guy needs to join Team Arrow now. It needs to happen now, like in the next 2 episodes. If it ain't happening, I don't know. We're going to do something drastic, people. Anyways, that's pretty much it. The episode continues to go on from there. We have these square-offs between, Arrow and, Oliver and freaking Komodo, and they go at it. I like their action sequences. Their fighting could have went a little bit more extravagant. We've seen that Arrow can pull off really awesome action sequences. So I would have liked them to do a little interesting, more, equipped type of things. Instead of like some stupid like crossfire of like motorcycles. It just felt unnecessary. It just show us more, I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it. They just could have done a lot more with it. That's just what I'm trying to get at. But in the end, the episode was pretty badass. They do end up catching Komodo, and we do realize that, Komodo is not the actual killer of Sara, so obviously Laurel and Oliver are still going to be on the hunt to find the actual killer of Sara Lance, even though we already know, wink, 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 we already know, bitches, it's Ra's al Ghul sending a League of Assassins over to say, fuck you, Team Arrow, that's right, or Team Sara, I don't know, Team Lance, I don't fucking know, people, we don't know the League of Assassins' intentions so far. And that's the sadness of waiting. I have to wait. I want to see it already. I'm just saying. Anyways, awesome stuff. Laurel is obviously dealing with her own personal stuff. She lost her sister. She wants to join Team Arrow, and we get to see some good stuff from her. But over the course of the episode, I just felt it was a little too pushy, in my opinion. I mean, like, she's still not Black Canary, but we can see that she's inevitably going to get there. And based off what we've been seeing for future episodes, she will be meeting up with Ted Grant, a.k.a. Wildcat. So my guess is that she'll be learning boxing from him or something, and hopefully learn how to fight so she can actually do more stuff than just pulling out a gun on Komodo. So that's just what I personally think. In the end, this episode was pretty badass. It wasn't better than episode 1, in my opinion, but it was still pretty good. And it still keeps, the idea flying. Is like, who did kill, Sara? Was it, was it Ra's al Ghul? Oh, Jesus! Needs to happen. Nevertheless, I give this a good 8 out of 10. It was pretty badass. Not amazing, not incredibly badass as I was hoping for it to be. I mean, like, I thought, like, oh, Komodo's coming, there's just going to be some shit going down. But it was kind of like, 2 trips in, they got him. It was just, eh. Anyways, it was funny, it was good, a little too depressing for my taste, but overall a pretty good badass episode. Now let's get into some details, people. First off, something I forgot to mention in my previous review, which was the title card arrow change. As you all noticed in the title sequence, they changed the arrow. Not a big fan of it. I've heard other YouTubers talk shit about it, and to tell you the truth, it's going to be a while for it to grow on me. I don't know why they had to change it. I guess because they're doing the Hong Kong flashback sequences, they want to change things up a bit, like revise the show, seeing as how they're doing a whole Justice League on TV type of thing. So, I guess I get it, but I don't like it. I like the older Arrow title, but that's just me. Anyways, one of the biggest spoilers, of course, Easter eggs references, whichever you want to go with it, is Tommy Merlin. Of course, he was actually in this episode. Yay! Tommy! I know all you fuckers, Season 1 fans, love Tommy and love the fact that he's probably back. He was only in a flashback sequence in the Hong Kong flashback sequences. Apparently, Amanda Waller, who needs Oliver to do some stuff that we still have yet to know, wants him to murder or assassinate Tommy. which Oliver does not want to do because they're obviously best friends, even though the guy dies in season 1 anyway, so it's kind of whatever. Nevertheless, I do think it was kind of cool to bring him back, but it is what it is. It's just a flashback sequence, people. He's not actually alive or he came back, you know. I'm just saying, Lazarus Pit, until that shit's in the episode, we don't know if people can come back from the dead, seeing as how the Mirror Crew is gone. Nevertheless, League of Assassins was referenced when they were talking about who may have killed Sara. Diggle references League of Assassins as possible hitmen, but Oliver, you can see, quickly discounted that. I'm personally thinking that either A, Oliver doesn't want to admit that it's the League of Assassins because he obviously knows he can't handle them, or B, truly believes that someone else could have had something to do with it. And, you know, maybe it's the Nissa thing, Nissa Al Ghul thing, maybe it's that, but then again, you have to realize, this is Raj Al Ghul we're talking about. He'd sell his fucking daughter to fucking make sure that he had his plans done, you know. We've seen that happen before plenty of times with Batman and Talia Al Ghul and shit, so that's my personal opinion. Another Easter egg was Bloodhaven. Yes, we've seen plenty of references and name drops towards Bloodhaven before on Arrow. I'm just wondering, like, when are we going to see that shit? Like, is that like a tie-in to Teen Titans? Because we all know Nightwing's from Bloodhaven or some shit. Any crossover there? Don't know, but it doesn't hurt to be fucking thinking about it, you know, predicting it, you know, whether or not it's going to happen. But nevertheless, those are pretty much the only Easter egg references that I could come up with throughout this episode. Arrow is not really known for doing that many Easter eggs anyways. They mostly do deal with the plot of what's happening in the story itself. But it is what it is. I thought, seeing as how we are going to get a TV version of Justice League, we get some Easter eggs to, you know, who's coming up, you know. That's just all I personally think. But that's overall what I think about this personal episode. We didn't get Katana in this episode. She wasn't in here. We didn't really get any other insights to who else is going to be in the following episode, like Ted Grant and shit. But post-title sequence, spoilers if you've not seen the episode, this is a big spoiler. We got Thea in training. Yes, Malcolm Merlin out in, who gives a shit, fucking training Thea to become, obviously, a badass assassin like himself. So what are they trying to do? I really don't know. Thea, of course, based off the teaser for next week's episode, has stated that she has no intentions of going back to Starling City. But does that mean that she won't? You know, I don't know. I personally think that it's going to be hard to get Thea away from Merlin without Merlin, like, fucking over Oliver, because we all know that they still have a score to, you know, settle and shit, or what have you. I don't know. We really don't know what the fuck's going on. I personally, Thea's side story is pretty much, like, you know, on the bottom of the list of what I really want to see this following episode. Like, on the top, it's like, I want to see some Raj Al Ghul stuff. I want to see TV Justice League. I want to see stuff like that. I'm not really, you know, thinking about that other stuff. But nevertheless, it is cool. It is interesting. We all knew that Thea was eventually going to come back, so it is what it is. Nevertheless, I did like this episode. It was a little too depressing for my taste, as I stated. But in the comment section below, let me know what you personally thought. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you hate the episode? Do you think the episode did any justice to the character of Sara? What do you think is going to happen to Laurel? Do you think she'll become the Black Canary? And how do you think she's going to end up being that? Who do you think killed Sara? Do you think it was League of Assassins or Raj Al Ghul himself? And what do you expect to happen with Ray Palmer? And, of course, and in the end, what do you think is going to happen for next week's episode? How do you believe Oliver will bring back Thea from Merlin? So that's going to be it. I hope everybody enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, and I'll be here next week with another review of Arrow, and of course I'll also be back next week with another review of The Flash, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, go back to my channel to check out last week's review of Arrow and The Flash, and of course yesterday's review of yesterday's episode of The Flash, titled Fastest Man Alive. Hope you guys check that out. Nevertheless, this has been JonScrew12. I hope you guys enjoy this episode review.